Stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Norris, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo, Sainz, Hamilton, Gasly and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Vettel, Yuki Tsunoda and Stroll, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, George Russell and Mick Schumacher, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Here we are in Spain, revving up to 5 red lights, and it's lights, and away we go. A long wait for the lights to go out, but here Verstappen gets a pretty good start, as does Bottas. Verstappen goes to cover off Perez. Is that going to be no, Bottas is a bit too far back. Here comes Sergio Perez around the outside of Valtteri Bottas. Sergio Perez has a look. Verstappen squeezes him down the inside, comes Valtteri Bottas on Sergio Perez. Then through turn 2 and 3, Perez is on the outside. Can Perez make this work? Round the outside goes Sergio Perez, as is Charles Leclerc. On the outside of Lando Norris, side by side. Perez gets in front of Bottas, Norris, and Leclerc still side by side with Ricciardo right behind them. Leclerc on the outside, and then he sends it down the inside of turn 5. Norris still holding it around the outside. Is Norris going to get a better exit? It looks like he will. He's going to have the outside line for the next corner. Leclerc has the inside defensive line. Here they come into turn 6 and 7. Leclerc squeezes Norris out. And that is the position for Leclerc, but now Norris is going to have the slipstream. Onto the next straight, Hamilton goes off the track, and he's having to defend from Fernando Alonso here. Alonso's on the outside. Here comes Fernando Alonso around the outside, late braking by Lewis Hamilton. He nearly goes into the back of Daniel Ricciardo. Crazy start here in Spain. As Hamilton pulls away, here comes Carlos Sainz down the inside of Fernando Alonso, who got really, scared by Hamilton, who squeezed him quite tight at the apex. And here comes Sainz round the outside. I've never seen an overtake there. Great move from Carlos Sainz. And Gasly rounds off the points as we go down the grid. Vettel in front of Stroll, Kimi in front of Giovinazzi by quite a bit. Giovinazzi behind Mick Schumacher, almost called him Michael. Anyways, here's down the straight. Perez is already out of DRS from his teammate Verstappen. Here's Ricciardo right behind Norris, and Bottas is in the DRS of Sergio Perez. Here is around the outside comes Fernando Alonso. Here comes Pierre Gasly round the outside. Fernando Alonso. It doesn't quite work out. Is he going to do the move that Fernando did back in 2013? Not quite. And Alonso holds 9th place there. Very surprising the start for Alonso. Just since he battled Hamilton, he's just been dropping off. And he continues to drop off, as I believe he's out of the DRS of Sainz. Yes, he is. Just barely out of it. As Bottas, as you can see on the timing, is losing time to Perez, and soon he will be out of that DRS as well. Norris is still very close to Leclerc, and once DRS gets activated on lap 3, he will probably have a look at overtaking him, as Hamilton is, after that very poor showing in qualifying after a spin, meant he is now down here in 7th place, and he's going to want to look to at least get up to 4th, but it's very hard to overtake here in Spain. He's going to have to potentially do it in the pit stops or just on track. We'll have to see what Hamilton can do. Here they go down the straight now. Hamilton through the final corner as they go down the straights. What can he do? He's still a bit too far back. Is DRS activated? No, it's obviously not yet. It's being activated this lap. Is Hamilton right on the back of Ricciardo? No, he's a bit too far back. He doesn't send it. He uses a lot of curve through turn 1, then through turn 2, takes a more square line. Through turn 3, trying it round the outside. No, well, not round the outside, but trying an outside line. It hasn't quite worked out. And Leclerc still holding 4th in front of Norris. Ricciardo defending hard from Hamilton in battle for P6. With Sainz down in 8th, he's catching up to this train. Being led by his teammate Charles Leclerc. Bottas is barely in the DRS. I think he's going to be out of it by the end of this lap, as Verstappen has pulled yet another 4/10 on Sergio Perez this lap. Max Verstappen's absolutely flying. Great stuff. Now through this fast right-hander, completely flat out for Hamilton, as he has the DRS open. So does Norris. Also has the DRS open. We're looking behind to see Ricciardo and Hamilton, and it's not like they're really doing anything, as Hamilton is a bit too far back, and Ricciardo also has that DRS from Norris in front. Now they go through this long right-hander and come downhill into the tight chicane, which is right before the start-finish straight, of course, as Alonso is pulling from Gasly here, which is very good to get up into those points. Now they go down the straight. Is Norris going to be able to overtake? Look at how close Hamilton is to Danny Rick. But Ricciardo's also going to have DRS. Hamilton's going for it anyways. They're going to go side by side. Hamilton's getting squeezed very tight there. Very, very tight squeeze as Norris and Leclerc are battling hard. Round the outside is, down the inside is Norris, which becomes the outside for turn 2. There it goes. Round the outside goes Lando Norris. Brilliant overtake. Hamilton also overtakes Daniel Ricciardo. Brilliant stuff from the both of them. As he goes off the track badly there to Hamilton. Trying to keep it on track there. Did not quite work out as Norris gets up into 4th place. Brilliant stuff as Hamilton moves up into 6th place as Ricciardo is squeezing him nearly into the pit wall. As they go downhill into turn 5, Hamilton taking more square line as you can see than Ricciardo, and it's going to give him that better exit into this next corner. Hopefully he can get past Charles Leclerc pretty soon if Leclerc keeps battling with Norris. And he's going to want to do that because Norris is already 3.6 seconds behind Hamilton's teammate Bottas, who's fallen out of DRS of Perez. And Perez is almost 2 seconds behind Max Verstappen now. So very poor pace from the Mercedes. It's about 5 or 6 tenths. Oh, Hamilton, big slide from Lewis Hamilton. Barely saving it, but yeah, as I said, you know, Mercedes has just been so off the pace this weekend. I don't really know what has gone on there. But they've been just nowhere compared to Red Bull this weekend, right from the get-go, as Hamilton sliding the car through these corners. Here comes Leclerc on the straight. He's losing a lot of time to Norris here, still in the DRS, but here is Hamilton also in the DRS. As we look up front, is Hamilton going to make a move? No, he's a bit too far back, as Leclerc also has that DRS, so Hamilton can't really do anything. Gasly is really close up to Alonso with that DRS, and Tsunoda is trying to keep up with his teammate up ahead. And Ocon on those medium tires, hopefully that split strategy is going to work out for him, and maybe he can pick up some points this season, as Sebastian Vettel is down in 13th place. Pretty poor showing from Aston Martin, and hopefully they can do a little bit better in this race and get up during the pit stop. So you can see Norris 3.8 now behind Bottas. I don't think that podium is going to be possible for Hamilton, as he's just even if he does get past Norris, it's going to be a bit too big a gap. As look at that, sliding everywhere is Hamilton. He just cannot keep that car under control, and the Mercedes has been so unstable right from Bahrain. And it seems like their upgrades here in Spain just haven't done anything, because Red Bull's upgrades seem to have done a lot more in terms of pace. As you can see, Bottas continuing to lose time to Perez, who's losing time to Verstappen. So imagine how much time Bottas is losing to Verstappen. It's like half a second a lap, probably, maybe more. So just pretty poor showing for Mercedes, as I mentioned before, as Hamilton going through these final couple of corners, clipping the apex nicely. And he's actually going to come into the pits here, very early undercut, or at least a relatively early undercut, as that's probably the best way to overtake here in Spain, is in the pit stop phase. And this undercut hopefully will work out, but he will suffer at the end of this race. As we are on board with Hamilton's strong pit stop from the Mercedes boys, as Sainz here has closed down to Danny Rick. And Leclerc still in that DRS of Norris, so he's still staying with him. It was 4.2 seconds behind Bottas. Now who's actually a full 1.4 behind Perez here. He's just continually losing time from that beautiful white Red Bull. As they go, here comes Verstappen. Look at how much speed he carries through 6 and 7 on the limit. There you can see the car sliding around using the overtake button through there, as you can see on the steering wheel, flying through the flat out turn 9. For Verstappen there, 2.2 seconds from Perez. Looks like he's slowing down a bit, is Verstappen, because he's not losing as much time. Sorry, Perez is not losing as much time to Verstappen as he was at the start of this race. But of course, Verstappen doesn't really need to push anymore at this stage of the race. Nobody else has pit except for Hamilton, who's 3.5 seconds behind Nikita Mazepin, down in last. 4.7 seconds is the gap to Bottas between him and Norris. And here comes Hamilton. Look at how much time he's gained through sector 2 here, using all the track on entry here, trying to turn in. Very nicely done by Lewis Hamilton. Look at that, Hamilton absolutely flying here. Now, as you can see, and here the fans cheering or saying something, and it's because Antonio Giovinazzi has spun, and we're going to watch a replay of exactly how that's happened. Here he goes, and he's just put too much power down. Just, wow, very shocking spin there from Antonio Giovinazzi, but that means that is one less car for Hamilton who's to overtake here, so that's good for Hamilton. It's Mazepin pits. That's perfect for Hamilton, because now Hamilton is going to have the DRS, and he doesn't have to deal with Mazepin, with Verstappen leading there, as Perez has also pit this lap. As has Valtteri Bottas, who is in 10th place at the moment. Here comes Hamilton down the straight. Here comes Hamilton. He's round the outside of Norris. He's going to make it work beautifully. Does Lewis Hamilton make that undercut work perfectly on Norris and Leclerc? Actually, not Leclerc. Actually, Leclerc is still out on track, although I imagine Hamilton's going to be quicker than him on these fresh tires. Valtteri Bottas is being stuck behind Mick Schumacher here, and that could cost him a lot of time there, as Hamilton's going to really close up the gap here. He's already closed down a bit because of the undercut. Now he's going to really close up a lot because Schumacher's going very slowly here, and that's a real pain in the butt for Bottas, who just can't get past him, as Schumacher also has DRS from Latifi, so that's a real problem for Bottas here. Going down this straight here, he actually goes for it, pulls out to the outside. Here he comes around the outside of Mick Schumacher. I've never seen someone overtake around the outside here, but he's gonna pull it off just about around the outside. No, Schumacher defends. But Mick Schumacher beautifully defends on Valtteri Bottas, and that's costing him so much time here to Lewis Hamilton, his teammate. Can Hamilton somehow pick up a surprise podium from after starting down in 7th place? Here is Bottas right up on Schumacher. Schumacher's probably gonna come to the pits. Yes, he is, but Bottas has lost so much time that Hamilton's now in the DRS. But Bottas does have those fresher tires, so that could be a big advantage for Bottas, as Bottas also has DRS. So they go down this straight. Hamilton looks like he's right behind him. Can he make the overtake? No, he's a bit too far back, but late braking from Hamilton into turn 1. Can he overtake Bottas? It would be incredible if he did, after starting down in 7th, to pick up a podium position, as Esteban Ocon currently leads the race. So it looks like Hamilton's battling for 4th, but he's actually battling for 3rd, as Verstappen has caught up to Ocon here. Still 2.2 seconds in front of Perez. Bottas 5.5 seconds behind Perez now because of that Mick Schumacher problem. But this is good for Hamilton, because now he can potentially take a podium position. As look at that, he's only 3/10 behind. But we're going to watch the battle for the lead here between Esteban Ocon and Max Verstappen, with Ocon running that split strategy on the mediums. Can he make it work? Can he pick up some points? We're about to find out, as he still has the lead here. Verstappen is going to lose a bit of time here. He's losing a lot of time here to his teammate behind. It seems like these alternate strategies are really screwing these guys over at the front, as Verstappen, it looks like he's actually on the hard tires, as Ocon stays out another lap there. But more importantly, it looks like Max Verstappen is on the hard tires. That could potentially cost him the race win to his teammate Sergio Perez. Very surprising strategies there. Here comes Max Verstappen round the outside, an easy overtake on Esteban Ocon. Yeah, he is on the hards. So that's a serious problem for Red Bull. I don't know why they've done that, but here's Hamilton on the back of Valtteri Bottas. He can go for it. Bottas goes defensive. Oh, he goes very defensive there. Hamilton's going to try the switch back here. Here comes Lewis Hamilton around the outside of turn 2. Doesn't quite work out. Now he's going to go around the outside of turn 3. No, again, Bottas defends very nicely there. But again, I'm not sure what Red Bull are doing, putting him on the hard tires, as it could cost him the race win. So let's see what might happen, as it looks like Leclerc might also be on hards. I saw a glimpse of Leclerc. It looked like he was on the hard tires, and that would be very unfortunate if he was, because that's just not the strategy to do in the 17 lap races, as Hamilton staying in that DRS of Bottas and just trying to stay with him. But it's so difficult to overtake here in Spain that he just can't get past. And look at that, Perez is losing a lot of time here to Esteban because of Esteban Ocon. Oh, again, Hamilton out of turn 10, just cannot keep the car in control, again losing the back end up the hill through turn 11, and that's cost him a lot of time to Bottas. He's in a full 7/10 behind, because Bottas also, of course, on those fresher tires. He's 1 lap fresher tires than Hamilton, so that's going to give him an advantage over Hamilton. Hamilton only 5/10. Look at that, he closed down 2/10 in the chicane, but it looks like he's lost again. Here comes Sergio Perez on the back of Esteban Ocon. He goes for it down the inside. Ocon's got to defend very hard there, but down the inside comes Sergio Perez, and yes, he is on the medium tires, and Perez just about, they're still side by side. Esteban Ocon, a brilliant defense, brilliant stuff from Esteban Ocon. And here we are watching exactly how Hamilton overtook Valtteri Bottas. Here comes Hamilton down the inside on Valtteri Bottas. Bottas goes a little bit defensive. Here comes Hamilton late braking down the inside, but Bottas sends it back around the outside. Here comes Hamilton. He's going to go slow through turn 2. Then back around the outside for turn 3. Brilliant move from Lewis Hamilton to overtake Valtteri Bottas. And Hamilton gets in front of Bottas. He's going to have to defend a little bit now. No, he's gotten in front. Great stuff by Lewis Hamilton. So now we've skipped to the end of lap 11, as they finally made, as Ocon has finally pit. Hamilton, you can see, going a little bit defensive there. He's trying to get out of that toe. Here comes Bottas, having a look down the inside. Hamilton is really having to defend now. Those tires are going to start going off for Hamilton. We've heard on the radio in the past that he does not like he doesn't like worn tires. And look at that, Sainz was on the back of Leclerc back there. I saw for a split second. As here comes Ocon out the pits. Is he going to come out in the points? No, he's actually going to get overtaken by Sebastian Vettel. Locks up, big lock up for Sebastian Vettel. But Ocon is on much fresher tires, as you can see back up front here. The Mercedes are still very close here. Can Bottas re-overtake Hamilton? Bottas really, after a very poor start to the season, he's going to want to beat out his teammate now and show that he is a contender for the championship, even though he's over a race win behind after only 4 races on the championship leader, Max Verstappen. But, sorry, it is Sergio Perez, the championship leader, I think. But anyways, as they go through these next corners, Hamilton using all the track there, but he's keeping it within the limits of the curb. Ricardo has overtaken Leclerc by a lot. He must have overtaken him in the pits. So that's very unfortunate. I think Leclerc was on hards. That's why he must be this slow. That must be the problem for Charles Leclerc. But here comes Bottas with the DRS again on Hamilton. Can he overtake him? No, he's obviously much too far behind to overtake his teammate now. As they fly through turn 3. And we look back here to see the Ferraris battling. And yes, Leclerc is on the hards, but Sainz is on the mediums. So very interesting stuff. They've given Sainz the favorable strategy, even though Leclerc was the one battling the McLarens. I don't know what's going on at Ferrari, but that's really cost them badly, because also Pierre Gasly's gone into hards. I don't know why these people are going on hards, because it's costing them a lot of time and positions here. I don't even know why Leclerc's just not letting Sainz go, because Sainz is clearly faster on the better tire now. But very unfortunate for Leclerc, as you can see Hamilton clipping that dirt on entry. That could have ended in a spin, but he's kept it together. He's again weaving a little bit across the track to try and avoid giving Bottas a tow. And Bottas has said he doesn't want to be a wingman this season. He really wants to fight for that title, and he said that many times before, but he says he means it this year. And after the first 3 races, I have to say it's not looking very likely that he's going to win that championship, but he's not going to stop him from trying. One thing we know about Bottas is that he never gives up unless he's told to by the team. Anyways, back to this race, of course. Bottas again with the DRS. He's keeping up with Hamilton for sure, because he's on those fresher tires. He's still got that DRS. He's still keeping up with his teammate, who appears to be actually gaining a little bit of time on Perez. Now we skip past the entire lap. And we start lap 15. Here comes Valtteri Bottas. Bottas is going for it on Hamilton. Bottas around the outside. Here they come into turn 1, late braking from Hamilton. Hamilton defends the position brilliantly. Lewis Hamilton staying in front of Bottas. Bottas much quicker now. Those tires are coming into his hands now. As we look back, is Sainz going to overtake Leclerc? No, not quite. Hamilton is struggling now on those tires. That undercut is costing him at the end of this race. Here comes Esteban Ocon with those fresher tires on. Vettel, no, he's a bit too far back. He can't do anything about it. Now watching Leclerc and Sainz battle a little bit, and then we see the Bottas right up behind Hamilton. As we skip now to the final lap of the race, Hamilton has pulled out 8 tenths to Bottas, so it's not looking like Bottas is going to get past. Looks like Hamilton really put the hammer down to try and pull away from Bottas. Here we are on board with Carlos Sainz. He's got the overtake active. He's trying everything to try and get past his teammates. He's going to open up that DRS. Is he going to pass him? Is he going to pass him? It's the final lap of the race. He's getting closer. He's getting closer. Leclerc goes defensive. Here comes Carlos Sainz around the outside. It comes Carlos Sainz around the outside into turn 1. Leclerc tries to outbrake him. No, it doesn't quite work out. Carlos Sainz overtakes Charles Leclerc. And that is quite the statement at Ferrari for Carlos Sainz to overtake Leclerc like that. Now, of course, Leclerc is on the harder compounded tires. Ocon is coming into the pits after he must have gotten damaged. I don't know why he's pitting on the final lap, because he has damage. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but at least maybe Alpine just believe that it's the right strategy to go with, as Bottas is really closing up on Hamilton here. He's only 3 tenths behind. He's really closed up the gap with that DRS, as Hamilton's on some pretty dead tires now. They go through the final few corners. It's Max Verstappen who's looking like he's going to easily win this race. Sergio Perez going to come home in 2nd place. The battle for P3 still goes on, though, but it looks like it's going to be Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton goes off. He touches it. It looks like he nearly went into the gravel there, but Lewis Hamilton comes around the final corner to take 3rd place. But it's Max Verstappen who beautifully wins here in Spain, and with it takes the championship lead.
They've done it then. A spectacular victory here in Spain and a massive confidence boost going into the next race. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Today's performance means Max Verstappen now owns the top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull pulled further ahead in the standings. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.